Cierra here. Say hi.
Hey everybody.
And you just chopped your hair off. How long ago did you do the big chop?
I chopped it off all in July of last year.
Oh, so it's almost a year.
It's almost a year next month.
So why did you choose to do the big chop?
Well, I've been natural all my life. It's just that I've been struggling with heat damage, like badly. And then like the middle part of my head would not curl, like at all. So I decided to just shave it off because I need something new because I was bored as well. And the heat damage, I wanted to see if it could grow out and curl again like this. So I chopped it off and this is where I am now.
And how are you feeling about where you are right now?
I feel good actually, because I see how fast my hair grows within the whole year since I've started.
Even though you're happy with your hair growth, there are some kind of issues that you're having since you big chopped. So what are those issues?
Styling, moisture retention, and the split ends that I've been having.
So I think one of the main concerns that we can start talking about first is when people choose to chop their hair off, it's a totally different texture usually than what they're used to, and they're having issues with moisture, adding moisture, and the actual retention of moisture, how to keep it in. So can you give some tips on how to maintain moisture?
Okay. One of the best thing that you can do to maintain moisture is to maintain your trims. By the time that you really start to let your hair grow out, with the big chop, a lot of people don't get a trim within that first year. I've noticed that. Like,
yeah, because they want that length.
They want that length, but then they also think, oh, I'm not heat styling it, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. That they won't have split ends, or they won't have dry ends. But split ends aren't necessarily an indicator of bad styling. They're completely natural. It's just the way our hair grows out. Like, you will get split ends. And so a lot of people don't get trims within that first year. So what they're really feeling is their dry ends.
Is it the ends that you have an issue with, or all around moisture?
I think it's
lack of
the ends, because when I run my fingers through my hair, the ends feel like all frazzled and like not moisturized. So.
It's funny that people do this though. Like, I'm sorry, maybe I'm just lazy or something. I don't do that. Like, I don't go through my hair and say, oh, well here, there's holes in it here, and then when I get here, it's like split. Like, I don't do that. I just kind of go based on the overall look. So kudos to you for paying attention.
No, very much, because what I usually do is when I have a new client, they tell me, oh, you know, I have dry hair. That's the first thing I have them do. After I shampoo and blow dry, before I trim, I want them to feel what their hair really feels like, properly conditioned, and tell me when they get to the dry part. Because that's the biggest thing. That's everything on Instagram, all of my tweets, people, how do I make my hair moisturized? It's so dry, it's so dry, it's so dry. And then most of them haven't had a trim in 6 months. And really, that's what it is. Because if you're shampooing and conditioning regularly, you shouldn't have dry hair. Dry hair is like a chronic condition. It's for bleached hair or over processed hair, but most naturals, they do a lot. They do a lot.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I remember we had this conversation. A lot of naturals, especially coming from being relaxed or straightened all the time, they're thinking that what they feel should be moisturized, or what they have the perception of what moisture is shiny. It's shiny. And when they don't see the shine, they feel like it's lack of moisture.
They feel like it's dry.
And that's sometimes a misconception.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. And not only that, but they say it feels dry, they say it sounds dry, and they want it to feel smooth or soft.
But that's just not going to happen when you're dealing with
depending on your texture. Right. Like coarse hair, for instance. Coarse hair is gonna feel hard. It's not meant to feel soft.
Yeah, my hair feel my hair.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard.
People, and it's funny. It's so funny because people think that your hair is soft. Like, I do have clients that come in and they say, you know, because Taryn's hair is so soft. I'm like,
I have coarse hair, guys.
Taryn has coarse hair. Now she has fine hair. She has a lot of it, but it's fine. So, you know, under my weave, I have fine hair. So my hair is always soft. And, you know, people with fine hair, we call it limp. Other people call it soft. But it's one of those things where they're automatically comparing what their hair feels like now to what it felt like when it was relaxed.
Okay.
And I want people to really know what their texture feels like, properly shampooed and conditioned, and that way they know that that's not dry. That's the way your hair feels. That's the way it's supposed to feel. You're supposed to feel texture. You're supposed to feel ridges, and it's not necessarily going to be shiny, especially depending on how you shampoo it. The method we did in the first video, that's how you get shine. Okay. It's not necessarily, it's not going to be
because
product.
it's smoothing
You're
the
smoothing
cuticle.
it, like it's just like cuticle. Okay, yeah. But it's one of those things where the first thing that I want naturals to do is to learn what their hair texture really feels like, so then they know when it's really dry. But most of the time, what they're feeling is their dry ends.
Really quickly, before we get into the next thing, what can a person do to make sure that they maintain the health and moisture in their hair? Do they deep condition on a weekly basis? Like, what is that ritual, that universal ritual that you can recommend to us naturals to kind of just keep the moisture in it? Besides the trim. We all know that Jennifer is like trim.
I'm a trim.
But besides the trim, say you've gotten the trim, what do you do to keep that up?
Shampoo and condition more often. That's my second biggest pet peeve. Naturals don't shampoo enough. They wait like 2 to 3 weeks, or they wait until their hair feels dry, and they're not doing it often enough. Everybody has different needs. Everybody. Some people, they feel they can go 2 weeks. They'll say, oh, it doesn't feel dirty or it's not itchy. That's not necessarily an indicator of when you should shampoo.
So your hair should be in contact with water very often.
It should be.
That's actually like the #1.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, people are scared of shampoo. But here's the thing: if you're not shampooing, you're also not conditioning. So if you're shampooing and conditioning on a regular basis, that conditioner is going to give you the moisture.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because shampoo has a bad rap.
A very bad.
But we forget that we condition right after.
Right.
So, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Shampoo, condition very often. Also, deep conditioning, is it needed? Or is it like propaganda? What's going on?
Well, I don't think, you definitely don't need to deep condition every week. You definitely don't. One thing, if you don't have chemically altered hair, meaning like if you don't have color, if you don't heat style often, you should not be using a protein deep conditioner.
Okay.
No person that doesn't have bleached hair or relaxed hair should have Afro-G in their home. That's professional level protein hardcore deep conditioning. If you have healthy hair and you're using a product like that to deep condition regularly, you're gonna ruin your hair. You'll make it hard.
So that's like a protein treatment that you're talking about. We don't need protein treatments if we have healthy hair.
If you have healthy natural hair, a moisturizing deep conditioner, like maybe twice a month, or when you come back from vacation and you were in salt and sand, but every week, it's overdoing it. It's a lot. Like, you don't need to do that every week.
I feel the same way. Yeah, and I just feel that way. I'm not the expert, but it just feels like,
Yeah, I mean, because the thing is, most naturals, they take pretty good care of their hair.
Actually, extra.
Yeah.
Over care.
and that's another thing. It's like, I feel like sometimes naturalistas, they do a lot of the extras, but not enough of the basics.
So can you say that one more time?
So they do the coconut oil, they do the they do the LOC method, they do all of this, but then they don't shampoo enough.
Wait, and I'm sorry, because I know you want to get to the styling part, but can you briefly talk about this Loc Method? Because I swear to God, I hear it everywhere. Okay. What is the Loc Method, and is it needed?
Okay, the Loc Method.
Question.
Me and the Loc Method are not friends. For me, LOC stands for a lot of crap. Because what it really stands for is like liquid oil cream or lotion oil cream, and what it is a step-by-step method to quote-unquote moisturize the hair or retain moisture. Now, here's the thing. If you have to use 3 different products to moisturize your hair, that means that the first 2 aren't worth the money. So it doesn't make sense. Like, why are you using a product that doesn't work, that you have to layer over other products? Okay. I'm product phobic anyway. I like the hair to be the focus. I like, if you're gonna embrace your texture, embrace your texture. Don't try and cover it up or make it, try to manipulate it with all these different products to look or feel a certain way. Got it. Accept your texture. I'm not a fan of.
So you just think a Loc Method is just a lot.
I think it's a lot.
It's a lot.
I think it's a lot because
Right.
what it's basically saying is that the products you're using don't work. Just find one good moisturizer that does the job.
You know what I think this is? All this Loc stuff and everything. I think this is a psychological thing. I think a lot, especially newly naturals, they get a kick out of doing something.
They do.
So then, and this is no shade or no judgment or anything like that, but because I was there in the beginning, I wanted to find techniques on purpose to try to get that feeling that I'm doing something great for my hair.
Right.
So, and now, you know, being a little bit more, I guess, evolved in my natural journey, I do way less and my hair is way better.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's just a process.
But it's also, it makes you feel good. It's just like getting, it's just like getting the spa pedicure rather than regular. You know, because I mean, we really don't need a paraffin dip, but it feels good.
Right.
It feels good.
Yeah.
But one of my issues with the natural movement, especially when it comes to products, is that the natural movement as a whole has convinced millions of women that they no longer have regular hair on their head. And you do. Everybody threw out their old products when they went natural. And they didn't need to. They could have used the same shampoos and conditioners and moisturizers that they had been using. We still have the hair on our head that we had. It's just not chemically altered. We didn't need to go out and buy 100 new products. We don't need to try a lot of different things. Find the products that make your hair feel good. If it's working, you don't have to go and try something different.
So the natural that she's talking about, and that I once was as well, you know, doing all of this stuff to my hair to feel better, are you that kind of natural?
Not really, honestly. Like some days, like I only use 2 products every season. Like I told Jennifer. Like right now, it's between Giovanni Leave-In and Rapunzel hair lotion. So that's what I use.
So that's it, a leave-in and a lotion, and you're good.
Yeah.
I'm actually, I congratulations on that, because you're like newly natural, but newly like beginning this different texture journey, and you're already cool with just using like 2 products. So but now let's get into the styling aspect. Now, I was here once. The awkward stage. I feel like when I saw her when she walked into the salon, I was like, I thought she would be a little bit shorter and more awkward. This ain't awkward to me.
Right.
But to her, of course, it's perspective. I would say like maybe an inch shorter. For me, that was awkward. But either way, make her feel better about the styling issue. So you say overnight, nighttime routine, and putting it in just different styles, different options to feel better about your length. What does she need to do?